Hi folks, how are y'all doing? It's been a while since we made a video or we've done any updates to the mod. Took a little bit to step back from it, and so that I opened it back up with a new player perspective, perspective of someone who isn't at all familiar with the mod whatsoever, and that really helped. It really helped. It made me realize really how far we've come. But I wanted to make this little video as sort of just a brief overview and to explain how you start, how you generate your characters, and maybe a little bit of solo playthrough. I don't know, we don't want to go too long, of course, but rather than just talk forever about it, why don't we just dive right into it so that those that are interested can, like, oh, how do I do this? How do I play it? How can I take advantage and enjoy this mod? So what you'll need to play is you need to join our Discord server. If you look right there at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, there is the link for our Discord. You'll also need Tabletop Simulator, which is very inexpensive. It's like $9 or something. You get it on Steam, just download it. And then, of course, you need the mod itself. If you go into Tabletop Simulator, go to the Workshops tab and select Workshops. Search for the Adventurers Guild, and then you just click the subscribe button. From there, when you go to open up a game in Tabletop Simulator, you create a game and you load in. You'll see a list of all the games that you have subscribed to. Warhammer Quest, our logo up there with the dragon around the Adventurers Guild logo, will show up. You simply click on that and load it. Okay, when you load it, you will get our opening screen. So this is what you'll see once the game loads. And let's just go into kind of what you do. So right in front of you, smack dab in the middle of the screen, you have Adventure, Traveling, Settlements, and Guild. None of these are developed yet, but Adventure is. So this is what we're talking about. And that's obviously the main core part of the game. So you simply click Adventure. That's the first thing you'll want to do is click Adventure. And the next thing you want to do is pick a seat at the table. So you can play up to 6 players with the mod, one for each seat, as you see. And to do so, to select your chair, simply go up to the upper right-hand corner. You can see up here it has my name, Flying Dad, and you click your name and a small drop-down menu appears, and you just want to change your color. So select Change Color. That will automatically rotate the screen, and you can see all of the different seat positions that you can go to. Each one of these, of course, represents a different player or a different warrior's play space. So, and then we're going to talk about character creation as well, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and select blue. And since the wizard is usually the most complicated to put together of the core set characters, we'll go ahead and select blue, and we'll make blue the wizard since that's kind of associated with wizards anyway. So once you select blue, the next thing that will occur is a screen in the middle will appear, a window in the middle of the screen will appear, asking if you want new character or a saved character. We'll talk about saved characters later. So for now, we're going to make a new character. You simply click New Character, and then select the character that you want to, or the warrior class that you want to be. For this instance, we're going to select Wizard, and all that has been developed thus far are the Barbarian, Wizard, Dwarf, and Elf. These are going to come later or might just be available for our Patreons. I don't know. Offer the core set for free, which, by the way, this is all free, guys. All of this is free. Wasn't free to make, but we're offering it to anybody and everybody. All of the core set basic Warhammer Quest stuff. So we're going to make it a wizard. So the next thing you want to do is just highlight wizard and click on it. At that point, all of the items and anything and everything associated with the wizard appears in your play space. So we could go through this really quick. Let's just go from top, we're going to go from left to right, top to bottom. So first thing you have over here, this represents the wizard's innate power. All right, you can go up or down with it. This here are the wizard's battle dice. You'll see what those are in a minute, or what those are for in a minute. This is the kill coffin. You simply take your dead monsters, which will line up in this area here. After they've been killed, you pick them up and drop them in, and it will automatically count your gold total for the adventure. Next over here is your character chest. This is where you will save and load your characters. So at the end of your first game, you'll have a new character, of course, and you will want to save him. And we'll go through the details of how this works, but you can save your character, and then when you go to another game, you can simply load in this treasure chest. You drop it into the game, put it on this little rectangle you can see here, select load, and everything will appear just as you had left it, with all of the stats and everything memorized, his treasures, his items, etc. Above this, these are just the wizard's regular dice, so anytime you need to roll something that isn't associated with the rule set, you simply utilize these dice right here. Of course, we have our fantastic, I absolutely love him, our animated three-dimensional wizard model. As you can see, when you pick him up, he runs. And you'll see all animations are in the game now for the base characters. And they're very simple, they're very basic, but it was done just to illustrate the potential and the possibilities that we have in the future as we continue to develop the game. So, for instance, he has an attack. Well, I'll show you damage, cast. That's taking damage. Here's his attack as he attacks, and you'll see how that works when it gets into the combat of the game. So for right now, let's just put him back onto the idle. Let's get back to character creation and explaining what we have here. So that's across the top from the right. Then, of course, you have the wizard's spells. These are just the 15 spells that the wizard has available from as a brand new wizard from the core set. So as you can see, as you hover over them, everything is labeled. These are the attack spells, 5 from the core set, 5 core set healing spells, 5 core set defense spells. Moving over to the character sheet itself, a little to try to discuss here. Of course, these are your wounds. This black box represents the total wounds your warrior has available to him, or his total potential health. The red represents his current health. And you'll see this is all integrated into the system itself and automatic, basically. Now, when I say automatic, and this goes for everything across the board, while everything has been programmed as far as the math and the calculations and what have you, you can still override that. So if your guy has a 10, you'll see it's automatically transferred here. He's at full health. And in the game, let's say he goes down to 8 through the rule set. If something happens that we haven't foreseen, where the wizard should have an extra health for whatever reason, you can come in and override it. If you'll hover over each side, you can see there's a plus and minus button. You could take one off or take one back on. So everything can be overridden, if you will. So let's just make that 0 for now, okay? Well, actually, if we do that, yeah, see, we went to 0 and it killed our wizard. He's at 0. So let's, for now, let's just make it 1, and then we'll roll for a minute. We'll roll soon for what his wounds are. All right, so that's the wound area, and then, of course, we just have the Adventurers Guild logo. This area is for your gold. This is not gold for your specific adventure. This is gold for your character as a total. From adventure to adventure, as you collect additional gold, this is where the gross overall total will be. These really aren't applicable anymore. This was programmed a long time ago where you can add 5 gold when you heal a warrior, part of the rule set. That's all been automated now when you cast your spell. You'll see what I'm talking about in a moment. And this just keeps a record of how many heals you had for the particular adventure. Bragging rights, as wizards like to do, when they're talking to each other and try to one-up each other. All right, then the next is, of course, character information. So you go ahead and put in his name. Notice over here we have our wizard. He's showing 1 of 1, but he doesn't have a name or anything when you hover over him, right? So we're going to call him, we're going to call him Wizah. And excuse me, I know my voice sounds a little rough today. I've been under the weather for the week. He is battle level 1. His career is novice. Of course, his class is a wizard, and then you put in your player name here. I am Flying Dad. All right. Next, we move over to our attributes section. This is really, I mean, I'm very proud of this, guys. We really have done such a good job with this. Of course, down this first list, you have the actual attribute itself. The next list, or the next column, are the attributes that the system is going to look at when it runs and does its calculations. All right, these are your current totals for these attributes. Over here on this column, obviously we have our base attributes. So this is what the character initially starts with. For instance, the weapon skill of a wizard is 2, his strength is 3, his toughness is 3. These, of course, all not on what the system looks at, but your base can be changed. You simply hover over either side of the number and you can go up or down. So in other words, when your wizard goes to level 2 or 3 and he gets additional toughness, you can change his core or his base toughness, which of course will change what the system looks at. So let's go back to the regular. Now here's something that's really, really cool, guys. Took a long time for us to develop it. We're really proud of it. This is the modifier section. Okay, so your wizard now has a, I don't know, he has a special magical helmet. I know they can't wear armor. I'm just using it as an example. They have a special magical helmet that gives them +1 to their toughness. Well, of course, you can come in here, right, and simply just add 1. Oh, now that I have this helmet, I can add 1 to my toughness, and now I have a base toughness of 3. The helmet's giving me 1, which means my total is 4, and the system's going to see 4. However, there's something much, much cooler that we've done. Not 100% finished, but many, many, many of them are. This modifier section, for the most part, is going to be automatic. And what do I mean by that? Well, over here you see a large column or a large area of the character sheet that says equipped, okay? This wooden square, the flat wood inside, has actually been programmed to recognize, upon contact, different items. So in other words, if you have an item that you drop here that you have equipped that gives your warrior +1 toughness, for example, and you're using it, you're wearing it, or you have it on you, simply drop it here and it will automatically adjust your toughness modifier, which will automatically adjust the stats that the system looks at. We'll get to a little more of that on the barbarian because he's wearing furs, and I'll show you exactly how that works. So that's the equipped area. Next we have, of course, any items and treasure cards and whatnot that are owned. And lastly, over here we have a notes section. Really like this too. What we've done here is there are 10 pages of notes. For instance, you could call this the wizard's, I don't know, skills, okay? And if you need more, you can simply click down. We have 3. So you see how skills goes down, and we'll call this one items. I don't know. Items. There we go. And you can scroll through your notes themselves. Then each note card itself has 10 pages. So as these fill up, as you fill this up with text and you need more for skills, you simply go to the page 2 of skills, page 3 of skills, page 4 of skills, etc. So nice little feature. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about creating the actual character itself. So that's sort of our area. Lastly, over to the right, you'll have instructions on how to actually create the character itself, very specific as to what to do. And then you'll have the character's starting items. So Wizard, of course, starts with a basic melee weapon of a sword, and he has his Hand of Death scroll. You can see the little magical stars appearing above the Death Scroll itself, depicting that, of course, it's magical. One of the things about TTS that I think everybody will like as well is that while you hover over it, it says Hand of Death Scroll, right? However, if you hover and pause, so just hover over it and leave it there for a moment, text will pop up that gives you the specifics of what it is. So, of course, this is the Hand of Death scroll. The parchments of this scroll is crumbling with age, the faint sigils and runes now barely readable. The Hand of Death scroll may be cast against any one monster and causes 3d6 wounds with no modifiers, may be used only once. This goes for all items and treasures that we have. So you'll be able to hover over it and see what it actually means. If you're a player who just likes looking at the cards better, personally, I don't. I actually like these better. It's easier for me as I'm playing when I look down at my sheet, instead of seeing a bunch of cards that look very similar to each other and have to read the text of what it is to determine the difference between one or the other. I like the fact that I can just place this on my own, and I know that I have a scroll that I can hover over and go, oh, that's my Hand of Death scroll. All right, so let's go ahead and make our character. Right, first thing you do when you create a character is you roll for wounds, and on a wizard you add 6. You pick up your dice, roll for wounds. For the guild, we only keep a 4, 5, or 6, but you have to keep the first 4, 5, or 6 rolled. All right, we do that because the guild doesn't just take anybody. So we rolled a 4, so it's 4 plus our 6 here is 10. You go ahead and take your total wounds and enter it into your total health here, and we have 10. And now our current health is 10, and if you notice over here, the wizard model that we have not only has his name, Wizza, automatically applied from what you input in the wizard's name, but when you hover over it, it shows he is 10 of 10. Now, why do we do that? You just have your character sheet. You can see here very easily that he's 10 of 10. Well, the reason why we do that is once you're actually in game and you're over here playing on board tiles and whatnot, and you're zoomed in and you're battling with monsters and there's a lot going on, you might not want to have to zoom out, move over, move around, go, oh, okay, I'm 10 of 10. Let me go back in here and see what I want to do. It's nice because each player playing, all they have to do is hover over the models on the board to see where everybody is at. Okay, so went to some trouble to make that happen, but I think it was worth it. Okay, there's a lot here, so let's keep going. We're 10 of 10. Next thing we need to do is roll for the wizard's innate power, so we're going to do that. Again, just a 4, 5, or 6. And that's a 1. And it's a 5, so we're going to go here, and wizard's innate power is 5. Last thing we're going to do for the wizard is collect his spells, all right? So we're going to go ahead and select spells. These are decks of cards. You can see there's 5 cards in this deck. There's 5 cards in this deck. There's 5 cards in this deck. Let's go ahead and shuffle them. To do so, you simply hover until the item is highlighted and hit R. Hit R on your keyboard, and that shuffles your deck of cards. Shuffle your deck of cards. Shuffle your deck of cards. All right, now for this example, I'm going to go ahead and just choose some spells. Normally, you would just click and drag off the deck, hit your F key to flip the card over, and we selected over strength. We have Lifebringer, and we have Shield. All right, but for this example and for just for the video itself, I'm going to go ahead and just go in and we're going to pull some specific spells because I want to highlight how those spells work. So we're going to go ahead and get Freeze. All right, we're going to go ahead and get Healing Hands, right? That's the one everybody loves, of course. The best healing spell there is. Oh, what happened to it? Healing Hands. There we go. And lastly, we'll go ahead and just, we'll get Confuse. Search and get Confuse. There it is. Drop it out here. And we'll go ahead and put these back. Okay, so there we go. Drop it. Drop it. I hope the dungeon background music isn't too loud. So what I'm going to go ahead and do just to clean up our area is, since we're not using these anymore, I'm going to click and drag, select them all, and I'm just going to go ahead and put them in our chest that's going to be saved later. So we're just going to go over here, highlight them over the desk, and drop them, and they get sucked in. Now we have Freeze, Healing Hands, and Confuse. All right. Now to load up and let the system know that these are the 3 that you have, okay, before I do that, let's talk very quickly, because this is where they're going to go. So I want to explain where they're going to go. If you look at the bottom middle of the screen right here, you see there is a graphic. This can be clicked and dragged. You can move it anywhere you'd like. Of course, I like keeping it kind of bottom center here. And let me explain what this is. You're going to have your character's portrait here. This represents melee attack without any weapon whatsoever. This represents a regular weaponed melee attack. This represents a missile attack, anything with a ranged weapon. This has not been programmed yet. It's special items. And this poor little pathetic icon right here is the pinning button. Hopefully we'll find something better. And you'll see on the right-hand side, this is very special, and we'll explain that in a minute. So what we're going to do, though, this is for your wizard, because we are the wizard right now. You can see up here we are blue. We are the wizard. So this is for the wizard character. Notice also when I put in the wizard in the name section, it not only auto-populated the model itself, but it came over here to our turn tracker, which we're going to explain in a moment, and Wizza is now in our turn tracker. All right, so back to our spells. These spells are going to load in to our little graphic GUI right here. Now, all you have to do that, to make the system recognize what spells you have, and they do go in order as you do them. So I kind of like putting my attack spell first, and then my healing spell, and then my defense spell. So I'm going to load attack first, then healing, and then confuse. To do so, you simply hover over the card till it highlights and press your 1 key, the 1 key. That will load, you see I'm doing it now, in order from left to right, your spells. It says blue has equipped the spell. Anytime you do anything, for the most part, the system registers it, and it lets you know via a message down here on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, and you can see what has just happened. So if you ever get kind of lost and like, well, what's going on? You can look back down here. Oh, it says Flying Dad's color blue, and I equipped Freeze, I equipped Healing Hands, I equipped Confuse. All right, so that being said, back over to our GUI graphic right here. You can see that 3 spells have been equipped. You can see at the bottom that on the left we have Freeze, that costs 5. We have Healing Hands, that costs 2, and we have Confuse, that costs 3. In addition to that, we have icons that represent the spell itself. So right here you can see we have Freeze, and if you hover over it, it tells you what it is, so you don't have to memorize what the icon actually means. So we have Freeze, we have Healing Hands, and we have Confuse. Anytime you want to look at the specific spell card and read the detail, like, wait a minute, I'm a new player, what does Freeze do? How does Freeze work? Well, you can simply hover over it, and when you see it's highlighted, you can see that there's a white highlight around Freeze. Just hit your Alt button. When you hit the Alt button, that image will appear large in your screen. And here we go, I'm getting ready to hit the Alt button. Ta-da! And I can read that I roll 1d6. The number of rolls shows the number of monsters affected this turn and the number of wounds each monster suffers with no modifiers, etc., right? And then if you hover off of it again, they will disappear down below. All right? All right, so we have our spells for our wizard. The next thing we want to do is, of course, we're getting ready to go adventuring, so we definitely want to equip ourselves with a sword, right? When you walk in, you want to have the sword in your hand. So this means that the sword is in your hand. And of course, we want to bring along our handy-dandy Hand of Death scroll. So we go ahead and just put that in the owned section. Now, the very last thing we want to do is get our character portrait in. All right. Now, we have a whole library of these character tokens. However, if anybody is familiar with it, you can use Token Tool. It's an app program that you can get downloaded into your computer. Very easy to use, and you can create your own tokens with it. There's a link to that actually on our Discord. So I'm going to go quickly over, and I'm going to get our token and put them into our game. We're going to go over to Discord. Don't switch. I don't want to switch anything. All right, we're going to go to the Adventurers Guild Discord. Go over here, and on the left-hand side, you'll see, you can scroll up and down, and there's a section called Character Token Library. Simply go there and select Wizards. And then find a nice wizard you want to use. I don't know. What looks like a cool wizard? He's a pretty cool-looking wizard. So we're going to go ahead and select him. You right-click the token. You go down to the little pop-up menu and go down to Copy Link. Click Copy Link. Then just simply go back in. You can see down here at the bottom of my screen, go back into Tabletop Simulator, click this question mark, and then click in. You'll get a window that opens up that says Change Portrait. Click inside the text box, and then select Control V. Okay, paste in the link that you just copied from the Discord. At that point, you simply click Confirm, and your character token is now in the game. All right? Now, it didn't just put it right here. I know I haven't explained any of this other stuff yet, but very quickly, it also placed it in our treasure tracker. So you can see Wizza over here is in our treasure tracker and in the random player generator. So over here in our random player generator, our wizard is in with its token, and when you hover over it, you get his name, so you know who's who. All right, Looks like our wizard is fully complete and kind of, he's ready to go. So because he's ready to go, I'm going to pick him up and I'm going to put him over here. By doing so, dropping him in this area, it lets the hosts know that you've done everything to put your character together and you're kind of ready to go. All right, let's go ahead very quickly. I'm not going to talk nearly as much since I've already explained everything. And let's make our barbarian and let's make our other characters. So next we're going to go to our barbarian. So we want to go up here to the top right-hand corner, right? And we want to change our color because we want to be in this seat right here. So we're going to go change color, teal, new character, barbarian. Give them a sec to load. Just give them a little bit to load. These models are very detailed, guys. So, you know, they do take a little bit to load, but you can see they're worth it. I mean, look how cool our barbarian looks, right? He's pretty cool. Looks pretty barbarian-ish. All right. Oh, and nobody give me a hard time about the shield not being on his hand. You have no idea what we went through to make these animated models. So we'll fix that later. But let's make a quick barbarian. So what we do, roll for wounds. Only keeping 4, 5, or 6. I like it. 6 plus the barbarian starting wounds of 9, meaning he has 15. We're going to call him Anger Man. All right. I know that's pretty lame, but you know, this just for demonstration purposes. Flying Dad is playing. We're going to equip his sword. And remember what I was saying about armor? So here we have his thick furs. His armor, his base toughness is 3. There are no modifiers because he's not wearing anything. So now we're going to go and add his thick furs. He's going to equip him. He's going to go ahead and put them on. Automatically made it a 1 because thick furs add +1, and now he's at a 4. And I think that's pretty much it for the barbarian. So we'll go ahead and move him over. Get his portrait real fast. Go do the elf now. Nice, I'll take the 6. 6 plus his 7 means he's 13. Into the total wounds. Call him Elphora. And played by Flying Dad. Of course, the elf want to equip his sword. And of course, the elf has a bow as well. So you want to equip it. To test to make sure. Okay, so in this, sometimes this is still a little funky, a little finicky. You need to make sure it's made contact. To do so, and the system has registered the contact, simply go ahead and hit your missile weapon. You must have a ranged weapon equipped. So maybe twist it a little bit, drop it in a different spot, try it again. There we go. Please choose a target. That means it's taken. So you're good to go. All right. And then, of course, his elf potion. He wants to take that with him, his healing potion. And last thing we need to do is go ahead and get his token. Who looks good here? Oh yeah, I like him. That's good. Simply copy the link. Come in here, click, and confirm. Elf is in. Everything looks good. And let's go ahead and make our dwarf. Give it a sec to load. Does take a little time. Models are highly detailed. Get a good look at the elf here. So, our dwarf, sorry. Here's our dwarf with his great battle axe. All right. Roll for his wounds. Five. Take a 5. It's 5 plus 8. He's at 13. All right. And of course, the elf has a rope. Takes with him. Just as with the dwarf, he has chainmail armor that adds +1 to his strength. So if you watch, or to his toughness, if you watch when I add it, he's now +1. And he has a great battle axe. And don't worry, guys, I know the great battle axe has special rule sets for it. It's all been programmed in. So it knows he's using his great battle axe and will utilize that rule set for this particular tool because it knows now that he has the great battle axe equipped. And lastly, let's go get his portrait. Oh, wow, this has been 30 minutes already. Holy cow. I didn't want to make it this long, but dwarfs, let's find a good-looking dwarf. Let's see, who's cool looking? I want one kind of younger-ish looking. Oh, I like him a lot. All right. So we'll go copy link. Over, in, shift, and confirm. Let it load in for just a moment. All right, he looks like he's done. We'll go ahead and set him over here. And now I'm just going to confirm as far as all of the tokens. And yes, it looks like all of our tokens are in. Let's go over to the treasure tracker. All of our tokens took well. I like it. Oh, we haven't named the dwarf yet. This is going to be, he'll be Axe Swinger. All right, and make sure that he is now Axe Swinger. Very good. All right, so that is character generation, guys. You'll notice as each one went in, they went in over here on the turn tracker, Wizard, Angerman, Elfora, and Axe Swinger. And basically now it's kind of time to start, right? So let's go ahead and simply right-click on the logo and delete it. There we go. Opens up our play area. And we're going to go ahead and set up our models on the starting tile. So this is our starting tile. And in turn order, of course, it is the barbarian, then the elf, then the wizard. And just a little note, if you're not familiar with Tabletop Simulator, when you're picking up and dropping things on the table, use the shadow. You see that shadow? The shadow of the model itself, that's where they're going to fall. So it's a great way to just use the shadow and drop them where you want. All right, so they're all set up, ready to go, but I know what you're thinking already, but flying, Dad. The turn tracker over here has everybody out of order. Well, yes, it does. It hasn't been activated yet. So to pick your adventure, and guys, this is another thing we're really proud of. It's pretty cool. You know, when you play Warhammer Quest the regular way, you randomly draw a dungeon card, a dungeon room card, objective room. I'm sorry, you randomly draw an objective room card, and then from there you roll a dice, And depending on the result of the dice, that will determine your adventure. So each objective card has 6 adventures underneath it. And there's 5 objective room cards, dungeon room objective cards. So the way we've done it here, you don't have to go find a book. You don't have to. We've all put it in the system already, and it's absolutely beautiful. I want to thank Corgan very, very much. He volunteered this. He spent many, many, many days, many, many, many hours on it, and it's absolutely beautiful. So what you do is we'll explain the details of the turn tracker in a little bit. Right now, all you need to know is this question mark represents the adventures. So what adventure are we going to go on? All our characters are made. We're sitting here. We're ready to go. We're ready to sort of start adventuring. Everybody's in the game. What adventure are we going to go on? Well, there's 2 ways to do that. One is that random selection that we talked about, and the other is you may, as the host of the game, want to run or go on a specific adventure. Both are possible. Let's explain how you do that. So the first thing you do is you want to click this question mark, and what's going to appear is a map of the Empire. And you'll notice in various areas of the Empire are icons representing each objective room in the core set game. So, of course, we have the the fighting pit, we have the fire chasm, we have the tomb chamber, the fountain of light, the idol chamber, etc. At this point, you can just select the specific adventure you want to go on. If you know that it is that you want to be in the fighting pit and you want to go on Man-Eater, just simply click on it and Man-Eater will start. And there's lots of things that happen there. And I will explain that as we go through how you do the random adventure. All right, so that being the case, the other way to do it is the random way. That's your typical way. If you want to do it the random way, simply right down here at the bottom, there's a random adventure button. When you click this, you'll be asked to draw your objective room card. So you simply click random adventure. Right over here are your 5 core set objective rooms. You can shuffle them if you'd like. Shuffle them up and select one. Flip it, and you got Fire Chasm. Excuse me, beg your pardon. So we've drawn an objective room card. This is the activation area. Pick your card up and drop it on the activation area, and it'll ask you to roll for a quest. So we're going to roll. And we rolled a 6. So 6 under the fire chasm is the adventure Preserve the Fires. And it instantly appears as a tomb. And you have all of the, this is what Corgan put together. It's really nice. Just appears, don't have to go find the book or anything. And you're able to read what the adventure is. All right? Now, anybody that's played Warhammer Quest before, of course, understands that there's 2 parts to every adventure. There's the adventure itself, and then there's what happens when you get to the objective room. One of the things that always bothered me with Warhammer Quest, and didn't bother me, but, is that what happens after you reach the objective room is right there with the adventure itself. So you would continue reading and go, once the warriors get to the fire chasm, X, Y, and Z happens. Well, I don't want to know what that is yet, right? We're adventuring through the dungeon. We have our quest here in front of us, right? This is our quest. We know what we're looking for. Let's wait till we get there to find out what happens when we get there. And in order to do that, we have these little next and previous buttons right here, if you see. So this is the adventure itself. If you click next, this is what happens when the warriors enter the fire chasm. This is what happens when they get to the fire chasm, all right? But you don't want to see that yet. So all you have to do is read this, and you're off on your adventure. Now, to get rid of this, to get this off of your screen, well, before we do that, it will ask you to confirm. So you have now opened up your adventure. Automatically, it popped up. And simply, okay, this is the one that we're going to go on, guys. Everybody agrees. Let's do Preserve the Fires. We accept this quest. Simply hit confirm, and a whole bunch starts happening, okay? One of the first things that happens is your dungeon deck is automatically generated, as it should be, with the Fire Chasm card In the bottom half of the deck, in the bottom 6 cards of the deck, is the dungeon card, and it is randomly placed just within those last 6 cards. So you don't have to go organizing your cards and whatnot. You just click the confirm button, your dungeon is created. The rest of the deck, of course, is randomly chosen from the entire core set Dungeon Room cards. The next thing that occurs is your event deck is generated, all right? And these are shuffleable, and you can shuffle them. But your event deck is generated, and in the future, when we have custom adventures, we can also create custom event decks and things that will happen within that adventure. We'll talk about that in the future. So we've got our adventure selected. We are running the Fire Chasm. We have our dungeon ready to go. We have our event deck ready to go. What's the next thing to do? Well, if you're ever wanting to get back to the quest page, right, just simply click the question mark again, and it'll appear. And you can go next, previous, etc. To get rid of it, just click the question mark again. So that makes it appear and reappear. You're all ready to go. Everybody's ready to start. They're in place. We have our adventure ready to go. You simply select Start. Go down here and select Start. A prompt will appear asking you to really confirm that you're wanting to start. And it'll tell you to press the Start button again. So here we go. Start. Ensure the party is ready and press Start again. By pressing Start again, you're going to activate the turn tracker. And notice, once that's done, that the players are now in turn order in the turn tracker. This is determined, of course, by looking at the character sheet's initiative. If ever 2 players have the same initiative, the system will ask those 2 players to roll off. The higher number, the winner, if you will, gets to go first, and the other one will get to go second. It's also depicting and showing that it is going to be Angerman's turn first. This area right here just is a round counter. Some aspects of the game are, you're poisoned for 3 rounds, or you took a potion and it's good, it gives you +2 toughness for 2 rounds. This will determine and make that automatic. This right here is your power roll. This will show whenever you roll the dice for power, it'll be auto-populated here. That way everybody that's playing the game, will be able to have access immediately to how much power is left. Okay? We'll go through the rest of the turn tracker, but obviously it shows that we are in the adventure mode of Warhammer Quest, or the Adventurers Guild, and we are in the exploration phase. That's the first thing you want to do. So because we're in the exploration phase, what you want to do is explore. So we're going to draw a dungeon deck card off the top, flip it over, and right off the bat, look what we have. We have the Circle of Power. All right. Now, instead of having to go through a bag somewhere on TTS or whatnot, all you have to do to have Circle of Power appear where it's supposed to be is, now listen here, guys, this is how it works. Hover over the card until it's highlighted, and you'll see the name Circle of Power appear. And you want to hit Shift, then Alt. Just click or hit Shift, Alt. I'm getting ready to do that now. I know you can't see my keyboard, but here's Shift, Alt. Hitting Shift, Alt automatically enables, we're going to put the card over here, the Circle of Power to appear in front of the open dungeon arch. All right, so simple enough, and it's good. We've got a, oh, look at it glowing, see? It's power, it's glowing with power. We have little animated candles on here, and of course it's all 3-dimensional. All right, so anyway, getting away from the pretty stuff. Now it's Angerman's turn. So it's the exploration phase. We want to hit the end button. Now it's the power phase. We have to roll the power, all right? Now to roll the power, if you're not the wizard, and this is for solo play, all right? The wizard will always be the wizard, of course, when you're playing with multiple people. The wizard will pick up the dice, and the wizard player's graphic at the bottom will be the wizards. But when you're playing solo play, you need to cycle through the characters very quickly. You have to cycle through the warriors very quickly. So what we do, to do that, when it's the power phase and you're not the wizard, you can see right here that I'm orange, and I'm showing that I am the dwarf down here, right? And I'm orange color. We don't want to be that. That's where you come over here and you highlight the Adventurers Guild and you simply click it. That will make you the wizard. as you can see right here, maybe you can get that. Let me see if we can pull that out better. There we go. You see now we are the wizard. Okay, it's still Angerman's turn, but we are the wizard. And the view will automatically take you to a view of the wizard. So it'll like center the wizard on it and move the view around real fast to be the wizard. Now that we're the wizard, we can roll the power dice because only the wizard can roll the power dice. Over here, we have two options for power dice. I kind of like this one better. And they're highlighted so you can see how they're kind of glowing. All right, so we're going to pick up this one and you got to shake it. Give it a little shake. You'll hear it click. And roll the power dice. Look at that, we got a 6. So as soon as you get the result, you'll notice here that it is auto-populated into the power area, that we have a 6, that the person's whose turn it's supposed to be, if you look in the graphic here, is Angerman, is our barbarian. When you're playing, and again, for multiple person play, it doesn't really matter because everybody has their own graphic and they are who they are. However, right now we are the wizard. Over here on the left side, it's showing who we are. And up in the top right corner, you can see that we're blue. Now we want to be the barbarian because he goes first, and we want to do that very quickly. We want to go through and be the different characters very quickly. So all you have to do to switch to the new character is select the character. So click him. Click his icon. Screen moves. You can see the barbarian right here. And we know we're the barbarian because the barbarian icon is showing up on both sides of the little GUI down here. And so let's move. We're the barbarian. We're going to move in. We're going to go 1, 2. Oh, that's usually a good spot for the barbarian, right? Now, we're wanting to switch. So we're going to go to the next play. Oh, we're going to end the barbarian's turn. So when he's through moving or doing whatever actions, doesn't matter what it is, when you're finished doing anything and everything that you're wanting to do for your turn, select end. It moves to Elphora. Elphora's picture appears here. You click on Elphora, and now you're Elphora. You move in. That's a good spot for Elphora. We know we're Elphora because of both of the icons. We end Elphora's turn. We want to be the wizard, so we click on the wizard icon, move the wizard into the corner, of course. We have to protect the wizard. We end the wizard's turn, and we want to be Axe Swinger. Axe Swinger appears here. We click Axe Swinger. Now we're Axe Swingers, and Axe Swinger's going to move in here. All right, I like that. All right, with Axe Swinger's turn done, we hit end, right? And it's now the power phase again, right? So we roll for power. Oh, but we're not the wizard. So we just click. We are the wizard. We roll for power, and the unexpected event occurs. Now, I may have done that out of order. I think the unexpected event was supposed to occur first, but all right, so we have a 4, and because, of course, it's a dungeon room, we have an unexpected event. So here's how the event cards work. Simply go over to the event deck. Of course, you want to shuffle them up and pull your event. What do we have? Right off the bat, we have 1d6 Goblin Spearmen, 1d6 Goblin Archers. Well, how much of a pain is that to go and find and do and count and copy? And just take your card, drop it into the activation area, and you roll for your Spearmen. Roll for your archers. You see you get a prompt for each, and it says that we did 6 Goblin Spearmen and 2 Goblin Archers, spawning 6 Goblin Spearmen, 2 Goblin Archers. They all appear in the spawning area. You see this when I highlight it, it's the monster spawn area, and we have all the monsters we need for the encounter. Simply pick them up and bring them over to place. Okay? Fast, simple, really easy. Now let's just show you some combat. I know we've gone long. I promise I won't keep it. I'm going to try to keep it under 12 more minutes, so it's at least less than an hour. All right, so we have 5 spearmen, so let's go ahead and place it. First, the wizard's going to get 1. Elf's going to get 1. Dwarf's going to get 1. And was that 4? No, it's only 3. Oh, barbarian. And the barbarian's going to get 1. Okay. Now we have 1 extra. Who gets that one? Well, you simply use your random player generator. Instead of choosing a coin out of a bag, you just let me explain how this works really, really fast. If it's highlighted, you're in the pool to select from. It's as simple as that. So if you don't want the wizard in there, or if you don't need the wizard in there, now these 3 are highlighted. When you select random, it'll only go from these 3. Everybody is in this choice, so we select random. and it has chosen Angerman. So the barbarian, it gets the extra one. So let's go over here and place the extra one. Actually, we had two, didn't we? So there's one extra. And again, there's a good example. So we'll go over here. Barbarian is not in the pool this time, so we take him out and we select who gets the extra Wizza. All right. And they can't attack from 2 squares away, so this one is actually on Wizza. All right. And then the 2 goblin archers, we will place them as far as away as we can. And that'll work. There and there. And who are they attacking? They are attacking Elf. Or, I'm sorry, let's do that again with everybody involved. They are attacking Wizza. Take him out. And they are attacking Barbarian. So Barbarian and Wizard. So since that one's on the Wizard, it'd just be easier to remember. And this one's on the Barbarian. So he's going to aim right at the Barbarian. All right, placement is done. Very simple. Goblins don't have any special rules for ambush or anything like that. So let's just start with combat. And I'm going to show you guys how combat works. And I'm going to try to do it in 9 minutes. Beg your pardon. Okay, so right now we're the Wizard. That's not good. It's Angerman's turn. But look, right here is Angerman. So we just go boom. All right, now we're Angerman. All right, we're going to attack. We want to attack this goblin right here. So I'm going to explain how this works very quickly. You have hotkeys, all right? I like to use the hotkeys because it's much faster. You can, though, simply click on Angerman's graphic GUI for a sword attack. Now, you're not going to see me do that here because I'm going to use my hotkey. I've set up V. My V key is melee attack for characters. So it just represents this button. That's what I'm going to be pressing. Then we have an amazing dice roll system that all you have to do is push a single button and it will roll the dice, they'll bounce, etc. And it'll actually be the barbarian's dice. And I have a hotkey set up for that as B. So that's my B key. V and B are right next to each other. So you're not going to see me pressing those, unfortunately, because I don't have a view of the keyboard. But know every time that I'm doing an attack and rolling a dice, for attack, I'm hitting V, and for rolling dice, I'm hitting B. So here we go. We're going to start, and the first thing we need to do, of course, is roll for Berserk. So I'm going to go ahead and just roll a dice. It's a 3. No effect. I want to attack this one. What's it doing? Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't take. Remember I was saying this was finicky? I'm very sorry, guys. So let's see if it does it now. There we go. Now it says please choose a target. So sorry about that. Sorry about that. I was wondering what the heck's going on. All right, so back to right where we were. It's very, very, very fast. So we're going to attack this goblin. That's a miss. All right, now we're going to end his turn. We're going to be Elphora. Elphora is going to turn and attack the spearman attacking the wizard. So we're going to attack. That's a hit. That's a death blow. He's going to attack the one next to him because of the death blow. That's a hit. That's a kill. Next one. Notice the animations and stuff, guys. Oh, he missed. All right. So that's the end of his turn. Now it's the wizard's turn. The wizard's going to go. He has 4. So just for sake of example, I'm going to show you how these spells work. We're going to show you how freeze works right here. All right. So he does not have enough power to cast a freeze, right? Freeze is 5. All right. So we're going to go over here. He's going to use one of his innate powers, so we're going to get rid of that. And simply click on it, and it goes up to 5. So there is 5 power available now. And you can go by right-clicking and left-clicking. You can go up and down here. And so now we have 5 power, and we're going to cast freeze. The ways freeze works is you roll the 1d6, and that tells you how many wounds, how many monsters. How many monsters are hit with the magic, and how many wounds each monster that was hit takes. So to activate it, we're going to go into our spell icon. We're going to click, and when we do, it's going to prompt us to roll a d6. We're going to roll the d6, and depending on the result, it's going to prompt us to select who gets hit. Very important, very important. Anytime you're making selections and they have to do with spells, you have to hold down control. You have to hold the control key to make the selection, okay? So here we go. We're going to, let's cast freeze. Going to roll the dice. We got 5, and we're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then to finish activating the spell, you see how it's highlighted green? We're going to click it again. That killed every single one of those monsters. Their death animation appears, and the monsters are automatically withdrawn over to, you see them going out? They're automatically withdrawn over to the player's area, right? And who else got some? The elf, yeah. See, the elves are over here. They're by the elf sheet. All right, so let's keep going. Wizard, you know what? The wizard is going to be greedy. He is going to go ahead and move now that he can, and I believe he's allowed to do this. He's going to move up to here, and he's going to go ahead and swing too. So we're going to melee attack this model and swing. That's a hit, I believe. Oh, it might be the same thing here. It's just being finicky. Now, you only have to do it once. Once it does it, there we go. Please choose a target. All right. Sorry, guys. You select the target, so we are going to attack this one and roll. That's a hit. Look at the wizard go on this turn. Oh, I didn't kill it, though. All right, so we're going to end the wizard's turn. Axe swinger. Axe swinger is not pinned, so he is going to step 1, 2 right here, and he is going to attack and roll. That's a 6. Now, because of the great axe, you roll 2 dice. It'll take the highest one. It'll take the highest of the 2 rolled, and then it'll do all the math. So he killed it. All right. Combat is over. You hit intern. It's the power phase again. Now, why didn't it go to the exploration phase? Because the system knows the barbarian is not standing next to the doorway. I mean, it's pretty amazing, really. We've done a lot of work here. It's amazing. If he were standing next to the doorway, it would have said go to the exploration phase. So last thing is some cleanup here. I'll show you how this works. We're the dwarf right now, well, actually it's power phase, but all you got to do to collect your money or to collect your monsters is just pick them up and drop them into the kill coffin. It'll automatically begin to add the totals. For instance, the elf got 2 of them, so he's going to put them in his kill coffin, right? And the wizard, of course, cleaned up on that. He got 5, so we'll go ahead and put them all in here. And whoop. And they would draw a treasure. All right. We are going to be redoing this to make it more like the original game, but for now, this little treasure area here, I'll explain very quickly. There's a treasure tracker. Simply, when a character gets a treasure or warrior gets it, you click it. Okay, he got 1, and then the next one, the elf got, and that way it helps determine, who's available for treasure and how much each has gotten. The chests up here are just denominations of money. So if somebody, comes across a bag of bones and they get 15 gold out of it, you can just pull that out and it'll go straight into your kill coffin and be counted. And lastly, we have the different treasure decks. We have standard treasure, we have weapons and armor, and we have dungeon room magic items. This one, of course, is the objective room treasure table. And we have a dice to determine which you get. Obviously, you don't get objective room treasure. We got weapons and armor. So you come over here and you pull out weapons and armor. And, that's not a good example. What's going on? There we go. When you pull these out, I mean, they're not all done yet. What you're going to get is actual 3D model of it. So let's pull it. Let's just, for example, let's pull out another one. And we've got a ring. These will be good examples. All right. So you actually have the treasures themselves. And again, if they add or affect your character's attributes, all you have to do is equip them. So if you want to wear the ring, equip the ring, and it's however it affects your attributes will automatically be adjusted on your character sheet. Now, again, just like with anything else, you hover over the ring, give it a moment, and it tells you specifically what the ring is and what it does. What else did we get here? We got a scroll of strength. Hover over it. It'll tell you what it does. This turns he's at +1 strength, 1 use only. So it'll know when you drop it on there that the character's stat will go up +1, and it'll look at the round counter, and it says for this turn only, as soon as the round counter changes, it'll go away. Also, again, if you just like the cards, which is cool as well, everybody has their own preference. All you have to do is hover over the item, right click it, or no, I'm sorry, hover over the item and, no, is it select 2? Yeah, and select 2, and that'll turn it into a card. If you want to make it turn back, you just select 1. Oh, nope, that put it into the hand. I forgot about that. So let's pull it out. There we go. So let me go through this again and explain. If you like the card, they'll come out of the chest as the little icon. If you like the card, you just right click and you can change its state. There's 2 states. So in state 1, it is the model. In state 2, it's the actual card. And then you can just use it as the card. To switch it back, if you like it, there you go. Now it's the model. That's it, guys. I've gone over an hour already. I'm at an hour and 1 minute. There's so much more that I haven't gone through. It really is amazing. All of the monster abilities are in there. The giant rat's death leap is automatically programmed, opening it up to a counterattack. All of the core spells are programmed in there. The spider's webbing is in there. That's really cool. As a matter of fact, if your character gets webbed, you'll see that the character actually gets webbed. There's webbing around the character. Anyway, thanks, guys. I know it's been a while, and I just wanted to do another quick overview. Thanks a lot. If you're interested, go to the Discord. That's the best place to get the latest information. And of course, we're always trying to update this. I'm paying off the programmers now. Hopefully in a couple of months, they'll be finished, paid off. And we can make additional progress on it because there's still lots to do. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.